Hey everybody, welcome to Aniki, the podcast about anime with two brothers. I'm Ben.
I'm a gibbering mass of flesh.
Yeah, that's about right. Although you're awful skinny, so I wouldn't exactly say that.
I said a gibbering mound of flesh. So I mean, how big is a mound? Okay, so let's start with a mound and slowly take away flesh until it's no longer a mound.
The classic problem.
Yes.
I guess you have to have at least a pound of flesh.
To be a mound of flesh?
I would think so. Otherwise, you're sort of a smear.
Yeah, or that one character from Doctor Who.
Oh, the face.
Cassandra?
Lady?
Is that her name? Right?
Man,
right?
Now I don't remember. I think you're right.
I think I'm right. What do I know?
If my wife were here, she'd be able to tell me. I'm looking it up. You are correct. Congratulations. She is the stretched out face.
I thought so.
That was weird.
Yeah, well, Doctor Who is still kind of a show for children, so.
It is. It is.
The more people realize that, the more sane a fan they are.
This is true. Or, and this is how I kept my sanity, I just decided after David Tennant's doctor left, that was the end of the show. It stopped right there. Well, everything after that was fanfic.
The first two seasons of What's-His-Face were fine.
Matt Smith?
The last one was really bad. The last one with him was not good.
I think it
was a bad season. It was just bad all around.
I stopped when they had the anniversary special with like 4 doctors in it.
That one was okay, but
it was
not
all right,
fantastic.
And I was like, this is a good place to just call it, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
And then later when certain announcements happened, I was like, doesn't affect me. My canon is set in my head. I'm good.
I've heard nothing about the season with the new Doctor, so I have no idea.
I don't know if it's
I've heard literally nothing. I think it's aired.
Well, it started back in December.
Well, must not be super good because literally no one's talking about it.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything.
So it must be.
Well, and the Weiss family, who's big into Doctor Who, I mean, she's named after a Doctor Who character.
Yeah,
they've all stopped watching because
it just must not
reasons.
be very good.
But I think they stopped at the end of Matt Smith's tenure anyway. So,
yeah.
Oh well. So, what have you been up to since last we spoke?
What have I been up to since last we spoke? Let's see here. I played Scythe. Scythe was good. What else have I done?
What is Scythe?
Scythe, it's one of the most popular board games at the moment.
Oh.
It's an engine building game in an alt history, like post-World War I with mechs and steambots and stuff. It's really good. Very interesting.
This wasn't a Kickstarter one, was it?
I think it was, but it's a real game. Like, it got a full release outside of Kickstarter.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, no, I know, right? No, it's pretty solid. I like it a lot. I wasn't paying attention to it because here's what happens on Board Game Geek these days, right? Is it's announced on Kickstarter. It goes all the way up to the top of the hotness and gets tons of rave reviews before it even exists because everybody who backs it on Kickstarter goes and rates it 10 out of 10.
Yep.
And then it comes out and then it drops off the face of the planet.
Shock. Or it doesn't come out, which is more likely.
Well, no, board games usually come out. It's the video game side of Kickstarter that you just kind of ignore. Usually they come out after Kickstarter and, they go to their patrons and that's it.
I'm actually really shocked on how many board games go through Kickstarter.
Tons do. It's been
I'm subscribed to our board games on Reddit, and they have a weekly Kickstarter thread.
Yeah, no, it's a ton.
And it's like 50 some a week. It's like, how do you guys even keep up with this? It's too many.
Like, you just can't, because I can't even pay attention. I don't even pay attention to most of them, because most of them, again, like, you have no way of knowing if it's good.
Yeah.
I feel like if it ever actually makes it to mass market, then it was actually good.
And I feel like 50 games a week probably are not actually coming out. So I see Kickstarter and I just ignore it until, like you said, it comes out.
But all you can do, what else have I done? The new Overwatch patch dropped.
It did. How do you feel about the hamster?
I'm a big fan. I'm a fan of any wacky hero. It's no cat with a jump pack.
It's not a cat with a jump pack.
He's very interesting. He's very complex. I see why he's a 3 out of 3 star tank, because there's a lot going on with him.
He's really hard. I played him on the PTR.
I feel like the people who are going to be really good with him are going to be like really good with him, and everybody else is going to be like, whoa. It's kind of like Punchy McPunch.
That guy.
Doomfist, where the people who are good with Doomfist, you are
invincible?
respect. Yeah, and you're like, respect. You are good. Usually a Doomfist isn't enough to completely turn the tides of battle like a good Doomfist is, but like you give respect to people who are actually good with Doomfist. And I think that's how Gerbil's going to be.
I assume so, because if I get him in like Doomfist and random heroes, then I'm just dead, like instantly. But somebody else gets it, and he's just always alive, and you can't do anything to kill him.
I am okay with Doomfist at least on random hero, because like I can get behind the line and just do some harass before, like kill like 2 people before I die, 2 or 3 people before I die. I'm like, good enough. I harass their back line.
So like I said, I played, what's his name, Wrecking Ball. I played Wrecking Ball on PTR just in the practice range, because I figured any match I was going to get into, he'd be locked instantly, so there's no point.
Mm-hmm.
And most of his stuff I'm good with, but he's got the one ability where you can swing from things.
Yeah,
that's really hard.
That's your skill cap, right? The skill cap is the actual like tether part. The tether and the slam that you can do as the tether, that's your skill ceiling right there.
It's really difficult to control.
The other parts of him are like, oh, this is fine, because like, oh, you roll in.
Yeah, otherwise he's just a diva that rolls.
You roll into a big group of them, you gain a bunch of shield based on how many bad guys are around, and you shoot a bunch, and then you roll out.
Yep.
I understand that part, but the skill ceiling's definitely the tether, because there's all sorts of weird shenanigans I'm sure good players are going to be able to do with that.
Now, I will tell you the best part about the hamster is his voice lines. Now, he doesn't have any like those. He doesn't have like any of the normal extra voice lines yet. It's still 0 out of 0 on PTR.
He just like chitters, doesn't he?
His hello and his thanks. Those are there. So you can use those. And here's the thing is he squeaks, but his mech translates for him. So you have this cute little squeaky thing, and then you have this robot voice that's super deep, saying cute things.
I bet that's great.
It's delightful.
I love that idea. I heard that he couldn't speak, but his mech, but he can like type in his mech and make his mech say stuff.
Yes.
I was like, I'm cool with this.
I'm totally down with it, and I can't wait to hear all the silly things they make him say. So the only thing I've done since last we spoke is I got addicted to a Canadian show called Letterkenny. Have you heard of this?
I know of this show. I'm well aware of this show.
Okay, good. So I won't link you this cold open because I was going to link it to you. But
it's supposed to be hilarious.
And I'll link it in the show notes
from it, and a lot of the clips are hilarious. So,
and I was trying to think all week, like, if you hadn't seen it, how do I describe Letterkenny to you? And I can't think of one. It's like non-bioti, except they're all drunk, and they're in a small town.
And Canadian.
And Canadian.
Yep.
That's essentially it. Like,
that's about right.
I can't think of any other way of describing it, other than I'll link the cold open in the show notes, and it explains itself.
Yeah.
But it's very good. Very good. I think I've watched 3 full seasons, which is just 6 episodes each. And then I'm on the 4th one. Apparently a 5th one's coming out soon.
It's supposed to be really, really good. Trying to think of what else. I'm caught up with Hero Boys.
Yeah.
With Green Naruto. It's still fine.
Now, I haven't gotten further in Green Naruto or My Hero Academia, but apparently there is a flashback scene with Deku and his mother that has just taken over Reddit.
It's literally 2 scenes, like 2 frames. It is very short, but people love it. And it's like, it's cute.
It's everywhere. I think I saved it.
I will ask you if you saw this here. Let me see. Somebody at a con who was very good. Somebody who was very good.
he knows what's up. Let's see. I think I saved 1 or 2. No, I didn't. But while I was scrolling through my upvotes here, I noticed something that if no one has seen this yet, they have to see it. Now, I linked this in Discord sometime this week. I don't know if you watched it. But are you familiar with Be Kind Rewind? And the notion of sweeting something?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So there's a movie called Be Kind Rewind. And I think I haven't seen it, but the premise is guys work at a video store and they accidentally like erase a bunch of tapes. And instead of just owning up to it, they decide, well, maybe people won't find out that we totally screwed up if we just remake all the videos in our backyard. Like just redo all the movies. And then to explain the low quality, we'll just say they're all from Sweden.
Oh, right? Is this the Cell Saga thing that you've posted here?
So Mega 64 the
Okay,
guys
I like
behind For Woo Do, etc.
Yeah.
They did the Dragon Ball Z Cell Saga, Sweeded. There are no special virtual effects. It's all quote unquote practical effects, and it is absolutely delightful.
Okay, well, I gotta watch it then. Sorry, but I'm gonna take 8 minutes off here.
It's fantastic.
5 minutes.
No, it's 8 minutes. It says 5 minutes, but it lies.
A few moments later.
It's pretty legit.
I know, right?
I'm a fan. I'll come down solidly as pro on that.
I just love the Kamehameha effect. That's delightful.
Very good.
I love it. How do we transition out of that?
You know what else is a perfect show?
Made in Abyss?
Sure.
Hooray! It's like you hear this song in the first episode and you're like, I'm in for a good time. I know it. Well,
Define good time.
I am in for a special show.
I mean, it's not quite Heredity levels of like pain and misery, but I mean,
It's close. It's close.
it can approach.
Yeah. So this week we are watching Made in Abyss, as in created within the abyss, not as in there are
I want to go to there. I want to go to the Abyss of Maidens.
maidens inside of a,
I want to go to Maiden Abyss.
like, virgins in a crevasse, I guess. I don't know.
Oh my.
No.
There's probably much cleaner ways to have worded that, but I'm for how you worded it.
It's not that kind of show. It's just a show about kids that like to dig.
Yeah, it's about digging kids. Really, it could just be called Minecraft the Show.
No.
It's digging kids, digger kids.
So, Made in Abyss is a show based on a manga that is essentially about a society.
Wasn't the manga based on a webcomic?
I don't know. I think so.
I think so.
May have been. Don't know that for sure. But the backstory is apparently there is a small island in the Southern Sea. And I think this show takes place in the far future because people have known about this island for like 1900 years, they mentioned at one point.
Yeah, it's either far future or just fantasy land.
Something like that. It's unclear, which makes it nice. There's this island, and in the middle of the island, dominating the island, is just this big hole in the ground.
Big ol' hole.
And apparently there are weird relics inside there that fetch high prices outside of the island. And so people have come for years and years and generations to dig out relics and send them off. Only problem with the hole is that the further down you go,
it's a bad hole. It's a bad hole.
the harder it is to come back up. Like, essentially, you get the bins. Only
real bad.
Worse. And the show focuses on 12-year-old girl named Riko and her robot friend.
Her robot buddy. So really, this is Doraemon, but digging.
Could be, yeah. Well, he doesn't
Right.
have nearly as many powers as Doraemon.
I mean, that's true. He doesn't have that many secret gadgets.
But she finds him in the first episode, in the first level of the pit, and she takes him back to the orphanage where she and her friends live, and they have adventures. Well, an adventure.
They have an adventure in the pit to go find her mommy, who may or may not be at the bottom of the pit.
No one knows. No one's seen her in 10 years.
And no one's really seen the bottom of the pit. Well, maybe, except because, like, once you get down past, like, 6 layers, coming back up, like, instantly kills you, so.
Essentially. Or that's what everybody assumes. And that's basically the show. And they go down. They go down the hole.
Go down. And every once in a while, a little bit up, but please don't do that.
Going up is a bad idea. Going down
Is also not a great idea. I also don't really want to go down, because there's all sorts of, like, evil things down there that want to murder you to death.
So before we get into like super spoilers, because I think describing anything further about the show is super spoilers, what are your overall impressions?
I mean, it's really good. It'd make a fantastic D&D campaign setting.
Wow, it really would, yeah.
That's super solid. It's a very sad show, though I couldn't tell you exactly why that is. It just is. It's very melancholic. It's like if you read, it's like Lord of the Rings, in that there's just an overwhelming like aura of kind of just like light melancholy through the whole thing, and you can't quite put your finger on where or why that is. It just is.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, I gave it a solid 9, even though it's not done yet. There's a second season coming out, but this first season, solid 9. Everything's great.
It's very good.
Storytelling's great. Characters great. Music's great. The art is amazing. The world building is
super good.
I don't even know what
they
to
tell
say
you
about
just
that.
enough. They tell you just enough, and like right before it matters.
Yep.
But not in the way that's like, did you know it happens this way? And it's like, no, I didn't. It happens that way this episode. It's not like that on the nose, but
I would say that it is absolutely the best show of 2017. In fact, I remember talking about this in our general discussion. Our general discussion like a couple seasons ago. Amazing show. I love it.
Yep.
It's great. So if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it.
Yeah, go watch it, because like you should just go see it before anybody talks
It's a
about
total experience, and you need to have the entire experience from beginning to
it. If
end.
I had one complaint, it's that it starts off a little slow, but
It needs to.
because I don't know. It takes them like 4 episodes to get to the abyss. And it's like 13 episodes, so like, come on.
They may have been able to cut out like half an episode at the beginning. Probably.
Yeah, but I mean, that would be my only complaint.
Yeah. It has essentially no weak points, except I don't really particularly care for the op, but that's just me. I don't think
That's fine.
The op doesn't fit with the rest of the music, but I understand that ops are generally vehicles for bands and such, and I know how the business works, so no complaints.
It's fine. The op was fine.
So going forward here, this is your giant spoiler warning.
What could have made the op better is if they had done what they do for Mushishi and just had like a Western mellow band do it.
Funny thing though, all of the music in this show was done by an American.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, it's odd.
This show's very similar to Mushishi, actually, in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Kind of is, yeah.
Yeah, I would do that. Because it's mostly a man versus nature story. And it's
Definitely is that.
it's definitely melancholic, because it's one of those things where the things in and the abyss itself is just something that you just kind of have to deal with. There's nothing you can really do about it. It's not malevolent, much like the Mushi. They're not evil or malevolent. They're just kind of there. It just kind of does its thing.
And you mess with it at your peril.
It's not your fault you decided to come in here.
Well, it's definitely your fault you decided to go in there.
It's not its fault you decided to come in here.
This is true, yes. I guess what we'll do is, instead of doing characters and then plot, because of the way this show is written, is I think we should go through the plot and talk about the characters as they appear.
Yeah, I mean, that seems fairly reasonable. Did you catch the clever thing about the title?
Which title? Made in Abyss?
The title of the show.
Because it's the robot?
No, it's not the robot. It's literally every main character you meet.
I guess that's true.
Absolutely.
Who are we counting as main characters here?
The main 3 that are featured in the closing op.
Then yes. Okay. Then I'm with you.
And half of the other characters, too, who may have not been, like, literally created in the Abyss, but they were forged in the Abyss, you know?
Every character is forged by the Abyss in some way, shape, or manner.
More or less.
We got 4 main arcs, I think. We got the orphanage arc, which is our characters at the orphanage. Then we go into the Abyss.
Yep.
Then we got the training at the outpost.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And then the 4th arc, which I've called the Nadir of Pain.
yeah.
So let's start at the top with the orphanage.
The orphanage is fun, and you don't say that very often. It's like, you know what's the fun part of the show? The orphanage part of the show is fun.
Yeah, it's amazing how many kids they have in there. Like, there are a lot of orphan kids.
A lot of kids. Well, I mean, when you go into a hole and coming out of the hole has a nasty chance of just murdering you, then, I mean, yeah, I can see why there might be a surfeit of orphans.
Yeah, before we get to the characters, though, I just want to point out how amazing the first half of the first episode is at just setting everything up.
Oh, it's really good. Oh, yeah. No joke.
That 8 minutes has so much information in it with no exposition at all. We find out there's a hole. People excavate it for relics. That the 2 kids we're focusing on are trainees. That there are gondola systems.
And it's very deadly down there.
Yeah, there are weird creatures.
And there's like this whole like adventurer guild system somehow.
Yep. And we find out that this girl is super headstrong and she's hiding something of value and she's very driven. All in 8 minutes.
Yep.
And all through dialogue.
Really good start.
You just know. I mean, it's got that song playing too. And it's just really good. Really good. So yeah, we got our 3 characters that are probably the most important that we meet in this particular arc. We got Rico, Reg the robot, and Habbo the kindly old wizened guy.
Ah, yeah, the Black Whistle.
Yeah. Let's talk about Rico.
I like her a lot. I wish she was if I have one problem with Rico, she's not as strong of a character. That's not the right way to put it. Her character is strong. She's not as powerful of a character in a main character as you would like, but the other time she's 12.
She is 12.
And she's very smart, and that's what she brings to the team of her and Reg. So that makes sense. But, you know, you kind of want your main character to have to be a little more powerful, but that's a very minor complaint.
I feel like she's extremely powerful in that she knows exactly what she wants.
Oh, yeah.
And she's extremely driven to get it.
Oh, yes. I just mean like
strength?
Yeah, like physical powers, right? Where it's like she doesn't have something that makes her like special. But then again, like, I mean, that's part of how the show works. But it's kind of lame to have her side character be so powerful, and she is not. But she's powerful in a different way.
She is. And I feel like it's one of the few shows that I could point to and say, this definitely has a quote-unquote strong female character. Like, when I think of strong female character, that's
realized character.
Like, there's... even though she's 12.
Yeah, she's powerful, driven, empathetic, smart, clever.
She's a delight. And
she's really great.
Even though she's paired with Reg throughout the entire first season, there's like no romantic feelings at all that I can tell.
Well,
I'm sure it could bubble up at some point.
Definitely part of what drives that, though, is that she really treats Reg as if he is a robot and not like some weird cyborg soul thing.
Well, possible.
That's best not to worry about.
But I could definitely see that if Reg wasn't a robot, that she would treat him pretty much the same.
I'm not sure about that, because there's several times where things happen where she's like, well, it's a good thing you're a robot, or this would be awkward. It's like, dude.
Maybe a little bit. But I feel like she's in the mode of, okay, we're on this mission, we're partners in this mission, and everything else is sidelined. No matter what.
That's also true. No, I would absolutely agree with that.
That's what makes her great.
No, she's a really cool, interesting character that you want to know more about.
I really want to know more about her mom, which we'll get to later, but she finds out...
So does she, turns out.
She finds out in this first arc that her mom may or may not be alive because some balloon came up and was collected from the bottom that had some documents in it that are supposedly written by her mom. Don't know if she wrote them long time ago or recently. No one knows.
That's also hard to tell because, as we learn slightly later, time in the hole gets kind of wibbly wobbly.
But there's a little note attached to the documents, because the documents are all about the abyss itself. But there's a little note that just says...
Well, because her mom was what?
A White Whistle.
White Whistle, which is basically the most badass rangers to ever range inside the abyss.
And there's this little note that says, I'll be at the bottom waiting. Rico takes that to mean, well, guess I'm going to the bottom then. Even though I'm a Red Whistle. The chibiest of all whistles.
You're Babby whistle.
Like, not even really an apprentice whistle.
Because it goes bell.
Bell, red whistle,
blue whistle,
purple,
black whistle, purple. Well, purple is weird though. Purple's like administrative. It's administrative whistle. So that's kind of weird.
Yeah, then you got black, which most of the top level people are. But then you have white, which are like ridiculously strong.
Yeah.
We don't really find out what makes someone a white as opposed to just a normal black whistle, but I assume that'll come up in season 2.
Yeah, other than the fact that they're hardcore badasses.
Yeah. We only meet one live
One and a
one.
half.
1.5
One and a
live
half
ones
white whistles.
during this season. And we'll talk about the half for a while. Let's see. Next we got Reg, who comes to the orphanage after Rico finds him in the first episode. When he saves her from a giant, what was that? A crimson something? Split jaw that was about to eat her.
Giant flying snake thing of death.
And Reg apparently shoots it out of the sky with his giant laser beam of death.
Yeah, he was a firing my laser. That dates me, but I'm okay with it.
Well, you did just watch the Cell thing, so.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, that's fair. That's actually what that's from.
That is what that's from.
Bringing it all back around. Oh, that should have been our segue. You know who else is firing the laser? Ah, damn.
Oh, well.
It would have been a joke for literally 5 human beings.
So, yeah, Rico finds Reg, takes him back to the orphanage where she and her friends pass him off as, hey, we found this kid.
Yeah, he's an orphan.
He's also an orphan because we have so many around. And the older kid, who's essentially the leader, he's a moon whistle. He's like, yeah, sure, fine, whatever. Have some clothes.
I like him a lot. He's a good character.
Reg or the leader guy?
The leader guy. What's his name? It's like
Jiro.
He's really good because he's that good type of parent character that like lets the kids kind of get away with stuff, but also 100% knows what's going on.
Oh yeah, because when they eventually sneak out to go into the abyss,
it's like you're not getting anything past this guy.
He even sneaks a little note into Reg's backpack saying, "So I'm giving you a head start. Essentially, I'm coming after you in like 12 hours. Good luck." But anyway, back to Reg.
Reg's fine. He's kind of a blank slate. Of course, that's part of the point, though, is he's trying to find himself. Because he has no memory of coming up out of the abyss. But, like, her mom totally found him, though. Like, come on.
Well, obviously, because he actually appears in the notes that came up with the balloon. Yeah. Like, that's clearly him, and everyone knows it's him. So, she either found him or made him or something. And we find out later, because he starts having flashbacks the deeper they get. He has flashbacks of being with her mom, Liza.
Seems to.
Something's going on. Something involving her mom. But I like Reg, especially his extendable arms. They find very unique ways of using his extendable arms.
Yeah, they get a lot of mileage out of that one power, which is good. That's what you want to see. You want to see a power that is like good and versatile and used really well.
Yeah, not a whole bunch of different powers all the time.
Like, I like how they set the limit on his laser blast of doom.
Yes, I enjoy powers like that have huge stipulations and caveats with them. And his is he can fire it and blow up pretty much anything. But in
Literally
about 10
anything.
minutes, he's going to pass out for 2 hours, and there's nothing you can do to wake him up.
Yep. His battery got to recharge.
I will say, he's probably got some powers we don't know about yet, because...
Oh, I'm sure. He's got that hat, man.
He's got that hat that does a thing, and no one's really sure what that thing is yet.
And it's a glyph, and it changes.
So maybe is there something going on there? And also in the op, and then later on, he's pictured with this little necklacey thing, and we don't really see that this season. So something's going on there too. Don't know what. But I like Reg. I'm not sure he's totally a robot.
Oh yeah, I think he's like a weird cyborg thing.
He must be, because in some ways, he's more human than most of the humans we meet.
Yeah, he's extremely sapient.
Except maybe Rico. He's like the most empathetic character in the series. Because he really cares about Rico and her safety.
He does.
So
he's been charged. And he's very good. He's a good boy. Good boy.
He's a very good boy. Let's see. And then I've got Habbo. So Habbo is not really Rico's uncle.
Maybe he is, though. It's
Could be. I don't know. But there's a lady that owns like a little convenience shop. He's her husband, and he's a black whistle. And he reminds me a lot of Uncle Jiro from Last Airbender.
Oh, yeah, Uncle Iroh.
Iroh, my bad. Yeah, Uncle Iroh from Last Airbender.
He got a lot of Iroh in him.
Is like a larger version of Iroh and with less neck.
Yeah.
He also knows what's going on, because he meets them as they're escaping later. And is like, you want me to just take you to the next level? Because I'll just do that. I don't care. You're red whistles, but what?
Well, it's because all the adults like realize exactly how strong how strong this boy is.
Well,
This
and
very
how
good
determined
boy.
she is.
Oh yeah, like you're not gonna stop her. If you don't let her go now, what is going to happen is she's gonna go without Reg at some point, and then she's just dead.
Pretty much. And I mean, the entire island knows who Liza is.
Yeah.
And I think most people know by the time she's 12 that she's Liza's kid. I know that when she was put in the orphanage,
The powers that be definitely do.
yeah, Liza told everyone, keep this hush hush. We don't need to destroying her life. But by the time she's 12, I think she's told everyone because she knows at any chance she gets.
Yeah, I think the only way to not let her go down in the abyss is to like literally chain her up.
Yeah, otherwise she'd just go out to the bridge and jump off and see what happens.
Yeah.
So essentially at the end of the first arc, she's bound and determined that she's going to go to the bottom of the pit to find her mom. Reg has determined independently that he wants to find out where in the world he came from because robot. He wants to find out if he's actually a robot or not. And he wants his memories back.
He's not going to be a robot. He's not going to be a robot.
No, he's not going to.
He's some cyborg thing.
Or something. Don't know.
Or some weird soul vessel. Man, the relics down there get real whack.
Yeah, they do.
They may even get wiggity whack.
So the kids actually help Rico and Reg down into the pit from a sort of a shady access point out in the ghettos, which is actually kind of a touching moment because she has a falling out with one of her friends who doesn't want her to go because he's pretty sweet on her, but then he realizes that he can't stop this train. Like she's full steam.
Toot toot.
They make up and he helps him out. And we find out that Reg's backstory that they made up was actually his backstory, which I thought was a nice touch.
It was. Because it also means like these kids are still kids. And that's another way that Jiro saw right through them. It's like, oh, isn't that interesting?
Odd that we have two kids that were found on the outskirts of on town, and then their sister's dead, and that's really weird.
Just how weird.
So let's see. The next arc is Into the Abyss. So they've made it out of the top, and they're into the first layer, which is where they have been. They're pretty acclimated to the first layer. There's not a whole lot to say about the first layer.
The first layer of the abyss is kind of just like generic fantasy plains area, and if you come up out of it, you get a little dizzy, maybe. Like, it's cool.
Yeah, some of them get nauseous, but that's about it.
And don't worry about it.
They do make it quite a ways, because I think when they're on their scouting missions as apprentices, they only go about 600 meters down, but at the start of episode 4, they're already 820 meters down, which is pretty far.
Well, he's got those robot arms. He can just be like,
Yep, just keep on going.
He just kind of Spider-Man's down.
There's not a whole lot that goes on in this particular arc other than they just keep going down. We get to see a lot of the, especially the first two layers, because they go through the edge of Abyss, which we've seen already in the first couple episodes. But we also get to see the second layer, or the top half of the second layer, which was called, what was that called? Forest of Temptation.
Oh, yeah. It starts getting weird.
Yeah, things start getting weird. There's a lot of interesting things about the world that we just pick up from like throwaway dialogue. Someone notices these weird windmill looking things, and Rico's like, "Oh yeah, those are power windmills that they used to use with the updraft from the bottom of the pit, and they used them for power about 4,000 years ago."
It's like, what do you mean 4,000 years ago? How long have you had this damn thing?
No one knows. Like, they've known about the pit for 1,900 years. Oh, there's some other things, like in the layer above, when they're out scouting around, they find all these weird tombs with skeletons, and the skeletons are always in a manner of prayer when they're found. And it's just like, oh yeah, that's a thing you'll find.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
But no one's like,
no biggie.
Why? I'm like, why?
Why?
There's a lot of mystery in this pit.
Yeah.
Lots of mystery.
And that, like, there's some weird hyper tech or like some weird magic thing going on, because not only the Curse of the Abyss that you go up and you kind of like fall apart, but also like sunlight's filtering down here really, really far.
Yeah, they sort of explain that later on.
Oh, they do explain it, but it's still just like
there's a force field.
Yeah, it's more of a field of a force rather than a like Star Wars style force field that's protecting the spaceship or something.
But that's how light filters all the way down, and you can't actually look up because it's really bright.
Yeah, it acts like some sort of weird Lindsay thing.
Another thing that happens, this is when Habbo catches up with them during the daring escape. And he mentions that, oh, by the way, there's a white whistle down further in the second layer, right before you get to the third. Don't trust her. She's kind of weird.
She's very weird. And also, she may have known your mom. Bye.
Yeah, she did save you that one time when you were like a kid. Yeah, she's crazy. Don't trust her. Bye.
Because we have learned at this point that good old Rico was born in the abyss.
Yeah. She finds out on her 12th birthday.
Yeah. It's like, hey, you know what? You were born in that. That cray.
Your mom was going to bring you up, but for some reason she couldn't make the journey. So she had this other white whistle with her. That whole story is very interesting because it brings up lots of other stuff.
Doesn't it?
Her mom and a band of people went down, I think it was the 5th layer?
I think so. Way down there.
Pretty far down. And they were ambushed. Actually, she got married on the way down. They got ambushed by this party of foreign cavers. So I guess cavers that don't come from the island, which raises...
Well, I mean, they might. It depends
lots of
on how
interesting
they mean
questions.
foreign. They could just mean... I think a lot of like the other raiding parties are just not associated with the guild.
That could be.
I think there are whistleless raiders that just go down there.
There may be, but to take on a bunch of black whistles, they're pretty ridiculous. So most of her team gets wiped out. And in the midst of this, she has Rico. And then she is very weak from this and has her pal Ozen, who's the only other survivor from this party, carry her back up to the surface. So that's where Rico comes from.
Box, so she doesn't get super sick and die.
Yeah, which you find out later.
Well, I think this is about when they find that out.
Rico and Reg make their way to the outpost at the edge of the bottom of the second layer.
Do we want to talk about how creepy corpse sweepers are?
Corpse sweepers are probably one of the weirdest, creepiest, and yet most beautiful looking things.
Yeah, no, I know, right?
They're really pretty, except for their tongue. That's weird. But they also have this penchant for, killing people.
And they have 3 eyes.
And whatever they kill, they then use their last words, which is usually help me, to lure in more prey. It's really creepy.
Yeah, no, corpse sweepers are real weird, man.
Yeah, and when they first find one, that's one of the first clues, this show's gonna go places that you didn't expect. Yeah, this is gonna go places
that's gonna be a little darker than you may have thought.
Yeah, because when they come across one, there's a dead dude.
And instantly, good old Rico gets kidnapped by one.
Yep. Which is really realistic.
Oh, yeah, no, it is. Which is you're a 12-year-old girl, get ready, and you're just down here for no good reason. And it's yeah, no, whoops, you got stolen by a giant raptor thing that will eat you.
That's the thing, is the show likes to, especially in the first 2 arcs, lure you in with a lot of hints that are dropped that this is a pretty realistic show. What if 12-year-olds went into this pit? Granted, one's a robot. A lot of things, a lot of just small situations sort of clue you in on they're actually in danger.
Yeah, it's dangerous down here. You don't want to be here.
They don't necessarily have plot armor. Just keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, there's a lot of no plot armor because when she gets taken, you're well, he's just gonna save her, right? And then it's just no, he's really gonna have a hard time trying to save her without her dying. It's oh, huh. Well, I'll file that away for later. Where man, they can die.
They could die, or maybe they don't die, but maybe other things happen to them. They're not safe at all.
Yeah, this is not a safe space.
But anyway, they make it past the corpse reaver and they make it to Ozen's house. And Ozen she's a character. And
isn't she though? She's twisted.
She
is very twisted.
I don't know if they could have made a more untrustworthy character if they tried.
I know, right? I love her design though.
Everything about her. Habbo said, yeah, don't trust her. And yeah, I don't. Nothing about her says trust me. Absolutely nothing. And yet we end up having to do that. So when they arrive at her house, the party's started by Marlk. I can't pronounce her name. Little blue-haired girl. She got saved by Ozen kind of in the same manner that Rico did, but she stays at Ozen's house and never goes up to the top. Ozen comes out, and apparently she has a bone or two to pick with Rico for existing.
Yeah.
Doesn't really like her.
Maybe? I don't know. It gets complicated.
It's really hard to say because apparently Ozen's feelings towards Rico's mom are complicated. Very complicated. Ozen lets them stay the night when they are attacked by a rack of ribs. Don't ask.
Yeah, no, that's true. That does happen.
Sometimes. And then the next day, Ozen was like, oh, so you saw my weird rack of ribs. Sorry about that. Would you like to know why I had a walking rack of ribs running around? If you would, come on up to my study. It's kosher.
Trust me, you kind of don't. You don't want to know about them, but if you want to know about them, come up and see my weird zombie machine.
They want to know. So they go up, and she shows them basically the way that Rico got saved. It's a great, big, white cube.
Oh, good old cube.
Cube. It is Cube. So Ozen explains to them the real story behind Rico's salvation from the pit. Turns out she wasn't born and then placed into this nice thing to keep her safe from the curse of the abyss. Turns out she was dead already.
So they just put her in the box.
So Ozen's just like, well, god damn it. I guess I'll just throw it in this box, whatever. But as soon as she throws the dead kid in a box, suddenly she's alive again. That's weird. Apparently the box animates things, which is where the rack of ribs came from.
Yeah, it can reanimate things no matter how dead it's been.
And we find out that Ozen had a thing for Liza or something.
Or something.
Because Ozen's, I don't know how old. Old. Very old. At least she was 50 years. It's been 50 years since Habbo knew her.
Yeah, she's very old.
Turns out she has a bunch of artifacts like placed in her body that both keep her young and give her enormous, just overwhelming strength.
Yep.
And apparently she was Rico's mom's mentor, which is great. Except I guess she developed feelings for Liza, even though I don't know if it's mutual or not. I mean, she respected Ozen, but I don't know past that. So when she found out that Liza had married on the trip and then had a kid,
she was a little put out.
Little bitter about that.
A little bitter.
Not happy. I think Ozen blames Rico for Liza being missing for the last 10 years. And for stealing Liza away from her, essentially.
Yeah. Especially given that part of the reason that Liza went on the last dive into the abyss was because she didn't want her daughter sucked into the world.
That's true. Like, did you have anything else you want to say about Ozen besides the fact she's weird?
Well, it's just one of those things where it's like the first time I saw her in there, like especially when she fights Robo Boy, you're like, she's twisted and a pure incarnation of evil. And then she's just like, lol, just kind of testing you. And you're like, I don't know if that makes you better.
It's like,
you are a weird, complicated character. I do not know how to deal with you.
She does explain herself. She says, I don't like deceiving children. So if she had pulled her punches to see how strong Reg was, then she would have been lying to them. Because there are far worse things down there than me.
I mean, and to be fair, she honestly couldn't hurt him. The only reason he turned off was because he shot his laser.
And no matter how much she stomped on him, he didn't wake up.
Or break.
There's something going on with that robot boy. But also, Ozen is just weird. Sadistic.
She's
and
twisted.
So cool. She is a super complicated character.
The Abyss has made her weird.
I'm pretty sure she was weird before. And it just made her more weird. Especially since she hides down there all the time and she's only got Marlk and some career criminals to keep her company. I do like Marlk, though. She's a cute little kid.
Yeah.
We don't get a lot of screen time with her, but
no,
she's lonely that there's no one her age down there, so she relishes the chance to hang out with Rico and Reg until they go on their little training session, which Ozen insists they do. And then almost immediately they turn around and jump further down into the hole, and she's sad about all of that. Poor Marlk. So once they jump into the third layer, that's what I think is the last arc, which I've lovingly titled the Nadir of Pain.
It's where everything goes from bad to real bad.
Real bad, then worse,
and like real
then
quick.
Absolutely worse.
It gets real bad real quick too.
So the first
It's just like
couple episodes of that, it's just they're going through the third layer. They're trying to hide from that crimson slipjaw that followed them down here from episode 1. And there's some good building stuff on that, especially the hallucinations that Rico has to deal with when she's ascending that ramp. That was good character building, I thought. But then once they're past that layer, they get into the 4th layer. And the 4th layer is where everything goes sideways.
well, part of that's because like the bad thing of you going up from that layer is it just gets real bad.
So they fall into the 4th layer, which is pretty cool. It's got a bunch of
It's called the Goblets of Giants.
they're giant plants with water on the top of them that are hot. It's like hot springs a little bit. They get down there, they're immediately attacked by an orb weaver. It's just this giant porcupine-ish looking thing. Looks kind of like an angel from Evangelion
Yeah, a little bit.
with its stupid little face. It's got spines that can cut through anything. And I love the way this plays out because you think, all right, Reg's going to save them. At first, his arms don't work. Rico's like, here, use this umbrella that can maybe deflect him. And he uses it, and it sort of works, but he also missed.
Yep.
And a spine goes into her hand. Oops.
Very oops.
Turns out those spines are covered in, like, the worst poison.
Literally the worst poison.
The rest of that episode is just, up until that point in the series, is really hard to watch. Everything about that, it's
tough.
It gets
it's
real.
real tough. Too real. Hashtag too real.
They were supposed to be happy.
Yes, it was supposed to be a happy, fun time.
Yeah.
Yep.
So at first she's like, okay, well, let's tie this off because poison. So let's tourniquet it. It swells to an unimaginable size. They still got the orb weaver to deal with, and she's like, just go up to the higher plane. Just take me. So he's like, okay. So they go up to the, I don't know, maybe 50 feet, and suddenly she's bleeding out of everywhere.
Yeah, because that's what happens. That part of the abyss is real bad. Real bad.
If this was any other show, they would just have her like crying blood, or a little bit out of the mouth. But
no, this is very bad.
Out of the ears. And I think the worst part is that it got the bloodshot eyes correct. Like, yeah, all the blood vessels in your eye just burst. Because that is definitely what would happen.
Isn't that fun? Isn't this fun for you?
This is so much worse and so much more real. Ah. And then, in her extreme agony, she's like, okay, I think my hand's a goner. Cut it off. Just off with it.
What badassery by a 12-year-old to be like, I want to see my mom so bad, cut off my arm.
And not just that, we find out later after we meet Nanachi, and she and Reg have a conversation that they could have amputated her arm at the elbow super easy, but Rico was in still enough a state of mind to say, no, you need to amputate it below the elbow, so I still have some sort of nub I can use to like grab onto stuff with.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was bound and determined to keep on going, even though she's in the worst way possible. So she tells Reg, tourniquet another side a couple inches from the first one, and then I want you to take this stone, break my arm, and then cut it off.
Yes, please. This seems fine and normal.
Reg doesn't really want to.
I can imagine why.
But he does it anyway.
He does. He's a good boy. Did I mention how good a boy Reg is?
That bone breaking, even though I knew it was going to happen, because this is the second time I've watched it.
I was like, are they really doing this? And it's like, yeah, they're really doing this. You're like, they're really doing this. This is not what I expected.
After it's broken.
Oh, and it's so broken.
It's so broken. And it's shown in such a way that makes you keenly aware of what she'd look like if they amputated it right then. And you're like,
and it's like,
they're totally going to do this. What kid show am I watching?
I was 100% ready. After they broke the arm, I was like, if they don't break the arm, then they're not going to amputate this. And as soon as they broke the arm, I was like, they're going to amputate this little girl in the show.
Yeah.
Is this going to really happen?
They were totally going to do it. But then thankfully, he does start cutting. But then
very badly.
Nanachi arrives. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness for Bunny Girl. And I don't say that very often. Usually when the Bunny Girl shows up, it's time for you to alt-tab out of your show.
So Nanachi shows up and stabilizes Riko, and then they go back to her hideout. So I guess at this point we can talk about Nanachi. Nanachi is a rabbit girl.
She's a cute little bunny girl. She has a happy time. She is a nice person who has nothing but days of happiness and glory in her past.
Yes, let's just keep that.
Let's just hippity hop down that path.
Yep. Forget the rest of it.
Let's just hippity hop on down.
So she explains that she's a hollow, and this is a term that came up earlier in the show, but wasn't explained. Turns out hollows are what happens when someone goes too deep and comes up too fast. So essentially, she got the bins really bad.
Real bad.
And she turned into a rabbit, which is okay, because she's like, well, I'm a rabbit, and I'm fluffy, but at least I've still retained my humanity, and I'm not dead.
Because usually that doesn't happen.
I'm not dead, so I'm okay with this. So before we go any further, let's just talk about Nanachi's personality and not her past.
She's a little... I like her.
She's dry. You can tell that she's been mostly without human companionship for quite a long time.
Yes, she is... Empathy is not her strong suit.
She can't really understand the intentions of others. She apparently had been watching Riko and Reg deal with the Orb Weaver and everything, like the whole time.
Yeah, like the entire time.
And she wasn't going to do anything until Reg was just crying his eyes out, going, I don't know what I'm going to do without you.
And her reasoning is you just look pathetic.
And he did, let's be honest. Of course, I would be too if I were in that situation. I like Nanachi. And fun fact, apparently the introduction of Nanachi saved the manga.
Oh, really?
Like, the manga wasn't really doing well in sales, but then they got this quote-unquote mascot character who's cute and fuzzy.
Man, it does usually help.
It helps.
I was wondering why she was in the ending so much, because, like, she's not much in this show, to be honest.
When this show first came out and I learned that, I heard that past that point, she sort of becomes not the main character, but a lot of attention is paid to her because it helps manga sales. I don't know if that'll show up in the second season of the show.
I hope not. That would be depressing.
Yeah.
She does have a complicated backstory, to say the least, so it makes sense of why they might do a bunch of stuff with her, especially once you get down to, layer 5?
Yeah. Well, she also is cute and fluffy. Let's not beat around that bush. Very fluffy. Everybody likes to touch her fur, and she hates it. Even the robot boy, who has metal hands, is like, you're so soft. I just want to keep...
Fua.
So fua. Nanachi takes him back to her little hut, and it turns out that the curse doesn't affect her hut.
And it really doesn't really affect her either. But of course, then again, she's not really human anymore, is she?
No, she got her dose of curse. She does explain to Reg what the actual curse is. And it is pretty much the bins, except it's this force field. And that force field gets denser as you go down. And when you come up, because you're going through more and more decompression, essentially, worse and worse things happen to you. Now, if you go out from the core to where, like, way off to the side, where her hut is, and where the second layer outpost is, where Ozen lives,
it starts to not be quite so bad.
It's not that bad. And in Nanachi's case, none at all, because they can go up that ramp and nothing happens.
But normally that would start making you, bleed out of everything again.
Oh, yes. We don't need more of that. So Nanachi takes them back to her hut, stabilizes Riko, and starts the process of getting her back, mending her, setting her broken arm, and putting weird little mushrooms on her, like they're parasitic mushrooms on her hand.
Yeah.
To hopefully take the swelling down and pull the poison out.
Yeah, because the mushrooms, they feed off of you, but they don't want you to die. So if you get too hurt, they put nutrients back into you to help you heal faster.
Yeah.
But the caveat is yes, this will probably save Riko, but taking them off of people or things hurts like a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And boy, howdy, it hurts like a son of a bitch.
It does when they eventually take them off, yes. A lot of screaming. A lot of
screaming. There's a lot of screaming in this show in general, especially this part. Mm-hmm. A lot of screaming.
Now, we do meet one other character
Oh,
Mitty,
yes. She's so cute.
in a grotesque way. Well, I'm not going to describe what Mitty looks like. Maybe I'll put a picture of her in the description. But she's weird. She has one eye. It's a cute little red eye. She has a vertical mouth and is very animal-like. She's definitely a quadruped. Reg notices her. It's like, that's a weird thing. What's going on here? And now she's like, oh, she's a hollow too, like me. She was also a little girl. Went down, came up. I'm an exception. That's the norm.
That's the rule.
So
It's like, oh, well, that's not nice. That's bad.
it's like, yeah, normally hollows look like that. Or something akin to that. There's no humanity left. So don't worry about it.
She's just a weird gibbering maw. You're cool.
Later on, she goes out with Reg on I don't know why they went out, but they went out for something, and he shoots his laser at the Orb Weaver because they find it again.
They go out to basically stop the Orb Weaver. Or she, yes, yeah.
Was it specifically
what's
to
her
kill
face?
the Orb Weaver?
No, I don't think so. I think it was to not necessarily kill the Orb Weaver, but neutralize it as a threat.
Ah, okay.
Because he goes out there with Bunny Girl, because the Bunny Girl can see the ebbs and flow of the force field, right?
Yeah.
And that's how the Orb Weaver works, is he can see the ebbs and flows of the force field, and since even your thoughts can change the ripples of the force field, it means they can basically predict your movements before you even think to move them.
Yep.
So in order to neutralize the orb spiner or whatever it's called, Reg needs Nachi's help.
He ends up using his hand laser. Doesn't kill the Orb Weaver, but apparently puts it out of commission. So it's...
Oh, because he misses a little bit.
Yeah, and takes off most of its spines, but
It has to shoot all of its spines to get out of the way.
But that
And
takes
that
him out
means
of the
that
game,
it's basically can't do anything without its spines, so it has to just go and hide.
Yeah. Nanachi's like, I didn't know you had a laser hand. That's an interesting
I didn't know you could
thing.
be a fire in my laser. Because before this, he has already promised Nachi that he will do literally anything she asks if she saves Rico.
Mm-hmm.
Little did you know what she would ask.
Yeah, and she's like, yeah, I just have one request, just a little bit.
Small little favor.
And she's all embarrassed asking it. And she's like, yeah, could you kill Mitty for me?
Please.
That request
That'd be cool.
is such a sucker punch.
You're like,
It's
well,
like, what?
why would you? I don't want to know why you would want that. I have a couple of guesses already, but none of them are happy or good.
Well, we did get a hint that Mitty's indestructible. A few scenes back when Nanachi explained where she got some antidotes for the poison of the Orb Weaver. Turns out she stuck some spines into Mitty, and Mitty made some antidote. So she's immune to that.
Yeah, because she'll neutralize any poison.
But then that's the end of episode 12. And then we get to episode 13.
Which is like an hour.
Is it a whole hour? I don't think so.
I think it's 48 minutes.
Is it?
Yeah, it's real long.
Mine wasn't. I think I saw enough.
It's 48 minutes.
Oh shit, it is 48 minutes. Huh.
Yeah, I told you. It's a billion hours long. It doesn't feel like it.
Now, so I'm going to tell you something.
Sure.
Because I was rewatching this series, I watched it at almost 2 times speed. And even at 2 times speed, episode 13 is, and seeing it for the second time, is just one sucker punch after another.
It's not fun. You can't stop watching, but it is also not fun.
No, it's like getting into a boxing match with Emotion Holyfield. Just, you think you're back on your feet, and then bam, right in the gut. Over and over and over. So we start with episode 13. We pick right up from the request from the last one. And we find out that Nanachi has a not happy backstory.
Yeah, no, she really doesn't.
Turns out that this other white whistle named Bondrude.
Who is very bad. Also, I love his whistle, because his whistle is already like, I don't want to know any more about that guy. That whistle is enough for me to be like, nope, nope, nope.
It's like 2 bone hands joined together. It's like,
yeah,
you're bad
you're
news.
Like, no, you're not good. You're bad news bears. You're not a good man.
So we first found out about Bodrude from Ozen way back when they were leaving her house. And she warns them, watch out for that guy. Unlike me, who's been nice to you, he's bad news. And they're like, is that a
And you're
joke?
like, Ozen, you haven't been the most most kind, to be honest.
And you know that she doesn't like deceiving children. So that statement carries a lot of weight. And now we know why.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a bad man. Bad man.
So apparently he's been taking orphans all the way down to layer 5.
No, he is not.
Well,
but yeah, I see what you mean.
They go down to layer 5, the Sea of Corpses. And his plan is he drops them into layer 6 and then pulls them back up really fast.
To see what happens.
As fast as possible. Now, his original plan was to put one kid in one elevator thingy and then put some other animal creature, probably an abyssal creature, in the other one. And apparently the way this machine works, when they pull them back up, the curse, for whatever reason, tends to go into one of the chambers instead of the other one.
They can he can divert the force field so that the brunt of everything gets shunted over to chamber B instead of chamber A.
Yeah.
So in theory, the thing in chamber A should not get the full brunt of the force field snapping back.
So into this, we have 2 little orphans named Mitty and Nanachi.
Who are both very real human girls.
They're little human girls. They're very adorable. They're about...
And they're best friends, don't you know?
And they're both outcasts, even from within the group of the orphans. So they've only got each other. They're very much like Rico and Reg. Same age even-ish. Mitty gets to go first. She's taken out of the room. Nanachi follows and overhears some disturbing stuff that Bondrewd...
Such as, this is what we do is we drop them to layer 6 and pull them back up real fast. See what happens.
Yeah, it's neat. So she's like, oh, that's not good.
That sounds bad. It sounds like we're people and you are experimenting on us.
I'm going to go save my friend. So she goes into the room where Mitty's locked up into one of the elevators and Bondrewd shows up and is like, oh, hey Nanachi, how's it going? Actually,
it's
good
just
thing.
convenient.
Convenient you're here. I've never actually tried it with 2 kids in the elevators.
So let's do that.
Let's try that. I mean, I've only got the 2 of you
like
left.
fun.
So let's try that.
Seems reasonable.
And then she goes. And then everything is the worst, and we'll not talk about any of the rest of it.
Yeah, the rest of the show is bad. Long story short, one of them is Mitty, the other one is Nanachi. Yeah, it's bad.
That's so bad. Actually, that's not even the worst part.
No, the worst part is that, so it seems that now Mitty is completely unkillable and indestructible. And that's really useful, because it means we can experiment all sorts of ways to help people survive down in the abyss, by just stabbing and poking her a bunch. Isn't that fun?
But it turns out...
It's a fun, good time.
Bondrewd knows Mitty's humanity wasn't completely annihilated. It's still in there, so she feels everything. And he knows it. He's like, yeah, it's fine. It's okay.
It's cool.
Whatever.
Such as science. Science! Capital S!
So Nanachi runs away with her. Runs away to level 4 and hides her away. And so they've been together this whole time. And she's been trying to find a way to euthanize Mitty for quite some time.
Yeah, considering that her life is literal, pain forever.
So even though we've had the bone breaking, the amputation thingy, the whole Mitty situation, that whole transformation thing, the worst part of this show is when Reg agrees to do it. And they do it.
It's very sad.
I knew it was coming. I've seen this before. And I'm still over there. There's a lot of dust, see, in my living room right now.
No, I know, right? There's a lot.
Just lots of dust.
You're doing... It's summer. Like that.
It's hot.
Pollen is out, man.
It's,
you gotta watch it.
Mm-hmm. It just so happened there was a big disturbance about right then.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know it's coming.
It's very sad.
And then she stops it for a second, and she's got Mitty surrounded by all of her favorite stuffed animals.
Oh yeah, all her toys. Isn't that nice?
I can't deal with that. I can't even describe it.
It's sad.
I'm getting feels right now just talking about it. It's one of the most emotional episodes of an anime I've ever come across.
You've still not seen
the Ghost Girl
Anohana,
show,
have you?
Not all of it, no.
Oh yeah, see,
someday.
Yeah, Anohana.
I don't really feel like crying again right now, so
I'll
keep that on the shelf.
It's a good one. It almost got me. I don't cry at stuff, man. That one, I was real close.
This one almost. I was already tired, and I knew it was coming, and still,
You were 1 second away from Midoriing all over this.
Yeah, a little bit. Like I don't need this. And then the season ends with
Well, not quite.
it's happy sort of ending.
No, look, you're missing out on the best part. The part about the dream.
Yeah, there's that dream.
We'll just leave that as a special secret surprise for you, the listener. Just in case you wanted to feel sad some more.
So yeah, see, that's the thing, is we have this sad moment, and then you're like, okay.
And then you're like,
okay, it's
hey,
over. It's over. I'm going to get back up.
What goes real well with sadness? Despair.
More sadness.
Long story short, Rico does wake up, and she's fine now.
And then she's like, hey, was there somebody else here? And then she mentions a dream she had. And then you get sucker punched again.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's nice. Thank you.
But this time it's not like despair sad. It's like happy sad.
Yeah, it's the good kind of sad.
She's like, oh, good. I feel a little bit better about what happened 3 minutes ago. But not really.
Yeah.
This all still sucks.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
But then, it does try to end on somewhat of a happy note. Because they do this little montage that they do get a message up to the top. Don't know what it says, but a message does make its harrowing journey all the way back up to the top via balloon.
Yeah, and they intercut that with them like getting ready to go down to the next level.
Yep.
By like doing some rehab on her hand.
Her
which
hand
is like
heals
basically
up really
paralyzed.
nice. Like way better than we thought it would. Like she can move her thumb, which is good.
That's nice.
She still has a hand. It's like gone back to normal sized. She's got a giant scar, but she's okay with that. It's like, could have been worse.
And at least Nanachi will go with her. She's great at medicine, considering how many different ways she's tried to kill Mitty before. Isn't that nice? She's real good at anatomy.
Poor Nanachi. But you know what's going to happen. You know everything is going to... The show prepares you for it. And then it doesn't just come out of nowhere. I mean, you don't expect it per se, but when it happens, you're like, okay, I kind of knew what I was getting into. So, you got any theories and hopes for season 2? We do have that nice little cliffhanger with Bondru talking about... Apparently he knows that Mitty's dead and is tracking all of his little experiments.
I mean, so long as it keeps this up, and as long as it ends after next season.
Well, I think the manga's over, and I haven't read any of it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how many seasons they can get out of that.
I can't imagine more than 1 or 2 more.
Next season, they'll start at 5. Assuming there are only 7 levels. Because we know that the farthest anyone's gotten is 6. And they know there's one below that. At least.
Yeah.
So there's at least 7 levels.
Well, it's hard to get anything back up.
Very hard. Well, Robot Boy did it, but he's also a robot.
Yeah, he's also a robot.
I hope we find out at least more about Regu.
I hope it has a nice ending. Not necessarily a happy one, just a nice one.
One that's satisfying.
Nice. Something nice. Like the end of Pan's Labyrinth. Just nice.
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure that Nanachi will die at the end. Because she
probably
wants very strongly to meet Mitty again. And Reg even has to get her to promise, look, if I go through with this, you're not going to kill yourself, are you? And she's like, no.
You're mean.
Fine, I promise.
I like how she words it too, because she's just like, that's just kind of cruel, That's mean. That's a mean thing for you to ask.
Even though he saw right through her.
Yeah.
But then at the end, when they set off, she's like, I'll see you soon, Mitty. So I assume that will happen at some point. Or maybe she finds a will to live. Who knows? Well,
yep. Who knows? Who, in fact, knows? It's hard to know. Any terrible thing that could happen to these poor kids
there is
will probably happen.
One interesting thing, because, what is it, episode 12? Suddenly, they go back up to the surface, like the show does. And apparently, there's like some sort of weird flu disease going around.
Oh, yeah, I know, right? Like, that's weird. I want to know more about that. I don't think it's worth getting into here on the podcast. But
it isn't, but it's brought up out of nowhere. Although it was mentioned, like, in the first episode, like, there's a disease around your birthday, don't look in mirrors. And in the start of episode 12, one of the kids gets the flu. They take him off the island into a floating caravan, and then he's suddenly well.
And you're like, oh.
That's it. And they
that's weird.
Go right back down.
The Abyss is real weird, man.
Oh, it's such a good show. It's such a good show. Everyone should be watching this. Good show. I mean, we've ranted about it for an hour and a half already.
Yeah, solid show. Watch it.
9 out of 10. Easy. Maybe 10 out of 10 once it's done.
Who knows? Depends on the ending.
Everybody's happy. Everybody gets out. It turns out there were just clowns at the bottom.
Oh no, no well, that's terrifying. That would be bad. No abyss clowns.
Are you hoping
I say
that
no to the abyss clowns?
everybody just lives at the end? Everyone comes back for the dead?
I mean, yeah, don't My Hime this. I hate stupid end of My Hime. I like that show, but man, the end of it's just terrible.
So what should we watch for next time? KonoSuba's pretty funny.
Which one is?
KonoSuba. Maybe we need a funny one after this one.
What's that on?
That is on Crunchyroll.
Yeah, we can watch whatever that other show is.
Let's watch KonoSuba. I think you'll like it. It's in the same vein, humor-wise, as No Game, No Life, but it's turned down to 8 from 11. So next time we'll watch KonoSuba, God's Blessing on This Wonderful World, and we will see you then.
Okay, bye forever.